This week we are going to be learning about the document object model, and you're going to be reading chapter 5 in your book, and then we're going to be going through the key concepts. And the overview basically shows you how the DOM fits into the browser object model because it's a part of a bigger model. So it kind of shows you the big picture there. And then we kind of get into specifics on the document object model itself. And so as you go through here, the first section is pretty self-explanatory, so I don't really have a video there, but if you come down here, when we get into finding and manipulating HTML elements, there are videos in these sections. Okay, and then of course I've got, the interactive buttons that you guys can try. I've got live examples that you can look at, okay, to try to help you understand the DOM better. Okay, and the DOM is super important for JavaScript and manipulating your code. So basically, the examples are designed to show you different commands that you can use and how they work. And once you get done going through that, watching the videos, working those interactive examples, then there is a programming assignment for you to complete. So as normal, we kind of start with creating our folders. And this first little exercise, you are going to have the opportunity to animate a unicycle. So it's going to be kind of similar to this little push pin example. So you're going to have a unicycle here, but you're going to move it to the right. You're going to be able to move it to the left and stop it. And you can actually control the speed too. So what you're going to do is very similar to that. And so I do have a video that kind of walks through and explains what that code is doing. There is a method that we do use in here called set interval. And so if you want to see more information on that, here's a link to a live example so that you can try that out and kind of adjust the seconds to see how it changes. Okay, so this is 3,000 milliseconds. Okay, so that's how long it took for this to display. Okay, but you can, it'll probably keep displaying now, how annoying. But you could actually change the value and run it if it'll let you. Let me reload the page. So set interval, what it does is it will keep calling the function over and over every 3,000 milliseconds. So if you want to make this even more annoying, you can make the time shorter and run it. And then when you hit try it, you'll see the box even more often. Now, isn't that annoying? Okay, so anyway, it does give you an idea of how set interval works. The file that you're going to need to download is this Unicycle folder. It has all of the graphics that you need because basically when you are animating these, it's a series of graphics that you are showing one after the other to give the illusion of a moving unicycle. Okay, so that's your first exercise. And in addition to having the video that goes through and explains the code, I actually point out what the code is doing on different lines in this example, because your code is going to be doing something similar. The next thing you're going to be doing is working with a collection because there are HTML collections that are built behind the scenes on your page. So working with a collection kind of gives you an understanding of what they do. So you're going to end up with an example that is similar to this, where you're going to start with, 4 graphics. These are thumbnails that link to larger graphics. And then everything below that is generated. Okay. So this is kind of what we start with, and this is what gets generated. So you are going to be using the DOM images collection. And then you'll access the alt attribute to display the name of each image. And so that is where I'm getting these names from. Then to get the links here, I'm accessing the source attribute. And then I'm actually using the alt and the source to create the links. And so you can kind of see what I did here for these different sections. And you'll see at the bottom, it's calling the next function. Okay, so when the page loads, it's calling process name. So it's going to run through here. At the bottom of here, it calls process source. So it runs through here. The bottom of here, it calls process links. So that's how everything gets generated. And then as far as what is accessed to create the content, that is what is going on inside these functions. And the video explains exactly what the code is doing. And so watch the video and it'll walk through that code with you. The last exercise, again, there's a video that will explain what you need to do. But in general, you need to create a page, and the page can be on whatever you want. I do not care. But you have to allow the user to add, delete, and update a portion of the page. So if you want to do this with buttons, that's fine. Okay. But you do need to allow that functionality. And then the user needs to be able to change at least 2 styles on the page. Okay, so you need add, delete, and update all 3, and you need to give them the ability to change 2 styles. Okay, and so I do have examples of how to do these different tasks, but you need to have them in the same page. Okay, so these examples are on different pages, and you need to put them in one. Okay, and if it's easiest for you to, do this with buttons, that's fine. Use buttons. Okay, it's totally up to you how you design the page. Okay, so here I gave you some ideas. If you want to prompt the user, you can prompt them. If you want to use a form that brings in values from the form, that's okay. Or if you want to use buttons, that's okay too. Totally up to you. Okay, so that is the last task, and this video explains more. So if you run into problems and you cannot figure out how to fix it, transfer the page to the web and send me an email and I will take a look at it because I'm pretty good at fixing these problems. Let me know if you have any questions or if you're confused about anything, and have a great week.